right, so let me go ahead and pull this up here. Well, we've got about 15 minutes left until the Lost Temple opens up, and it is almost 1 in the morning. Hey, it looks like some people are starting to flood in. I like it. Let me check my stream health. Okay, everything's looking good. All right, hey, we got Pepe Flores, we've got Rakavana, Amant, Muhammad, Dwangporn, ZJ, Hello World. Needs Sunnies? I don't know what that is. What's Sunnies? Hey, Ankit, Rakavana, thanks. Appreciate it, guys. Hey, so looks like people are starting to join up here. I like the quick start. So yeah, we've got quite the live stream for y'all. I know that it's been a little while since I've live streamed, and I'm hoping the video's looking good for y'all. I am on my iPad right now, one, because I really just don't know yet if everything is over. I'm really hoping it is, because the quicker we can get through this, the quicker we can move forward. That being said, I think we've got this pretty much nailed down. So before we go into the Lost Temple here, which is in about 13 minutes, I did want to just quickly chat about the last few days. I know that y'all have seen quite a few streams from other content contributors, and I appreciate them helping cover the war. I think it was probably one of the biggest wars that we've seen, right? I think that there's been quite a few wars out there that have been really epic and week-long wars. This one ended up being about a 2 or 3 day war altogether. Again, thanks for joining, everybody. If I haven't mentioned your name, Arnie, Nelton30, Lewis or Luis, either one. I'll get to the questions in just a second. I want to quickly recap, because I don't want to go into the who started it, who did this, who did that. I think that's pretty much been well covered on multiple different channels, and really just want to skip past that. I think at the end of the day, there was some folks that said some things that they shouldn't have said, and that really kind of set the tone for the next few days of the server. And just so y'all are aware, y'all keep telling Ronnie that he shouldn't have written the document. I wrote the document, okay? He gave it the stamp of approval, obviously, but I wrote the document. So if anybody has anybody to be mad about, it's me. I think the document was fairly well worded, and at the end of the day, I actually had 2 versions of that document. I had the first version that did not have that last paragraph that everybody keeps talking about. But as we talked about it, we all realized that without that last paragraph, it sounded more like a suggestion. And while suggestions are great and all, I think at the end of the day, we had been suggesting this for a long time, and we had been suggesting it to multiple people for months. So we didn't want it to be a suggestion. We wanted it to be hey, this is what's needed for the good of the server. I think that everybody involved should be really kind of keen on this. It's going to help the server. It's going to be really great. But at the end of the day, if y'all don't want to cooperate and really incorporate some of the larger powers of the server, then we're going to make sure that this happens for everybody. And, I thought we incorporated people that probably wouldn't have gotten a chance, like 3PN below us, where they wouldn't have gotten a chance to really share that rotation. One way or another, it always comes down to, well, it's good the way it is. Let's keep the status quo. And that's just not the case. The server's changed. The game is changing. You need to change with the game. And, keeping things as is because you just want to keep the power is just not the way to go. So that's what kind of kicked everything off. I think the letter was misinterpreted on the other side by being a threat versus a, hey, this needs to happen, but if you don't, there's going to be some things going down. It's not a you do this and I'm going to kill you. It's, hey, this is something that's needed. Let's talk about it. I want you to be aware that there's a consequence if we don't. And I think that's fair. And I guess it got taken the wrong way, and the people that saw it first, that thought that they were the mouth of the server, unfortunately shot their mouth off. And events unfolded. So I'm sure you all have been watching Ronnie streams and things like that. I believe Gecko covered it. I believe Shinchi covered it. I believe Chiscool covered it. I mean, I believe everybody that is a content creator, and even people who are wannabe content creators, have covered it in detail. And at the end of the day, yes, I believe we have won. And I believe that this is going to be the culmination of that winning. So TGS is now led as the host by Big Rick B. Big shout out to Big Rick B. He is now leading TGS, and Hinsey was a good king. I'm not going to say he wasn't. He took care of the kingdom. I don't think he had any ill will towards anybody, really. I think there were some heavier egos and heavier personalities inside of his alliance that unfortunately won out on the conversation to attack. And he had no choice but to support his alliance, which, again, shout out to him. He did so. Unfortunately, he ended up on the wrong side of that. That being the case, again, it was an epic couple days. Lots of man hours and everything spent, and women hours. We had Jesse in the alliance. It's kind of hard to really describe what it's like to go up against 6 or 7 alliances. I know that all of the alliance members weren't participating, but when you see, and I'm sure you all have seen the majority of the recordings, when you see about, 300 armies coming across the map at you, and you are 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 members deep, that's a little rough. I think we held our own pretty well. And yeah, I think overall this is going to be for the better of the server. We took a little bit of a step back, and we're going to be moving forward though. So let me get to a couple questions before we. Let me scroll back up too. Let me get to a couple questions before we start looking at the Lost Temple here. I still don't know what Sunny's is. Hello world. You can tell me that. Maybe you're saying I'm too pale. I don't know. I'm white. Ankit, is Lawless okay? Yes, we are certainly okay. We are in control of Zone 3 at this point. And again, big shout out to all the alliances for basically calling off everything in the middle of the day today. Law already touched the LT. Yeah, we are touching the LT. In fact, we are only one of 2 alliances that are touching the LT. So I believe we're going to be in good shape. Mystery Hoya low. Let's see. Wagerline, hi, how are you? Oh, okay. Salma, you won the war. Yes, we did. I believe so. This is really the last. I think this would be the last spot for them to make a stand if they wanted to, but it seems like, just based off of everything that's happened today, it's not really going to happen unless they've got 2 million troops sitting in this Lost Temple, which we will take care of if that's what's necessary. It's not really needed. I think that they put up a good fight. They did what they thought they could do. It just didn't end up working out for them, and I think a lot of it was unfortunately pushed by some folks that didn't have the best interest of their alliance or the best interest of the kingdom at heart. And it showed. I think our folks really stood to the last man and put everything we possibly could into it, just to make sure that we got what we needed to get for the kingdom. So if you got the power, then you deserve Lost Temple. I just wanted rotation. Is really all I wanted. That's what's in the document. I just wanted rotation, equal rotation. Good job, Drago, Ronnie, Aaron, Big Rick B, and other alliance members. Absolutely, Freddie, you're 100% correct. They're not going to resist for the Lost Temple. I don't think so. We're about to find out. I know that TGS can't, and 3PN can't, but Oz can, and they've got a different time zone than us, so they may be unaware of all the events. We've sent multiple emails to them letting them know that their entire alliance kingdom-wide has disbanded and quit and zeroed themselves and all that stuff. So I'll go ahead and allow that. So I mean, that's kind of what we're working with. Amont, are we taking Temple? Yes, we are taking Temple. Arnie, could we join a server if possible? Will it be open? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do for the opening whenever server migration comes. It's going to be kind of winging it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure folks will be able to join, especially those that are going to contribute to the kingdom in KVK. Will there be rotations for the LT? We're still working through some things. It's not going to be rotations with the existing Zone 3 folks that are going to be either migrating out of Zone 3 or restructuring with new leadership. That being said, there probably will be a rotation, but it'll be a rotation of alliances that are dedicated to A, making sure the kingdom is nice and taken care of for KVK, and B, also allied with us that to the point where we don't have to worry about them backstabbing us, kind of like a couple days ago. So with that being said, I think we got 4 minutes left on that, so that's pretty sweet. I hope there's not going to be a mini war, Joker. We'll see how that goes. So who is going to be in Zone 3? Only Law. No. So Zone 3 will be, as far as we know right now, and again, it's new, right? This all happened today, everybody. So Zone 3 will definitely have Law in it. We'll have our sub-alliance AOC in there as well, possibly. And TGS is not going anywhere. TGS will be led by Big Rick B, and he will maintain that alliance and keep that alliance afloat and moving forward in the right direction. Again, we have not spoken with Oz yet, so Oz, as of right now, is kind of the wild card. We don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but we do know that the existing leadership there cannot stay the way it is. So that will be for a later date. That being said, it's going to basically be a united Zone 3, united Kingdom 16, no more wars. I think we've proven the point that we deserve to be in Zone 3, let alone to have a spot in a rotation for the Lost Temple, considering we took on 6 alliances at the same time and won. So I think that was worthwhile for them to experience, so they knew what was going on. And ultimately, we won out. So I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on the time here, because this is kind of a big deal too. Will you recruit more players into your kingdom? We've already had some folks reach out to us. If we're going to be recruiting, again, it's going to be for the good of the kingdom. It's going to be for the good of KVK for K16. So that will be happening ongoing as we start to near migration. Reach out to Ronnie, reach out to myself, reach out to Big Rick B, reach out to Jessie, especially Jessie. She loves it. And we'll go from there. More questions on rotations. I think I answered that. Who's going to be in Zone 3 again? The only one that currently is not going to be in Zone 3 is 3PN. 3PN was an alliance that was to the south of us that unfortunately had said they would back us, and they didn't, and then ended up backstabbing us whenever TGS allied the entire alliance of server of alliances against us. So we just can't trust them for right now. So the initial thought is they can migrate to Zone 2. We're not telling them they've got to leave the server. We're not telling them they've got to sub or die or whatever that question looks like, but they can't stay in Zone 3. We can't have somebody we can't trust to our southern border every 5 seconds coming and attacking our stuff and then saying, oh, well, we didn't mean it. That's just not the way this game works, especially if we're looking for kingdom unity and trying to push forward in KVK. I think their highest player during this war ended up getting zeroed, got very upset, and I hope he doesn't quit. I think he was a pretty good player. I think ultimately, though, we need to make sure that we're incentivizing the people that are paying into the game, that are really working hard at the game, and not necessarily just free to play farming. That's great for Zone 1, even Zone 2. Zone 3, really no room for it. So Claudius, no more war. As far as I'm aware, there's no more war unless this changes in the next 45 seconds. That may be the case. Did Christie ever get hit? And I also think I saw somebody, did Christie get zeroed? Christie did get zeroed. I think he actually zeroed himself on Aaron's city last night. So I was in bed. I missed it. I wish I could have seen it. I hope somebody recorded it so that I can see it, because unfortunately he was one of the ones that kind of pushed this. And I hate for somebody to quit, and I certainly hate for somebody to get zeroed, but when you're in a war, You gotta win how you can win, and that's just how it is. So 5 seconds. I'm gonna leave the comments for just a second. I want to make sure that we have everything in hand here. Let me scout just to make sure that there's not 2 million troops in there, and we'll go from there. And my my expansion buff ran out. All right, so let's see what's in there. Nothing. Nothing is in there. So we're going to go ahead and occupy. We're going to occupy the Lost Temple live on the live stream. And I think I'm probably missing some Discord chat here. So hopefully if somebody's watching me from my alliance, they can let everybody know that I'm live streaming. I still have not figured out how to set up the audio from Discord to pop on the live stream. I do apologize, guys. I'm working through that. I'm working on a Mac, and everything is different on a Mac. I really wish I had not purchased a Mac. I'm much more comfortable on a PC and can do a lot more with it. But that's kind of where we're at. And look at your boy. Look at your boy, Legend Ronnie. I'm going to make sure he's the first to touch the temple. So I'm going to sit back and support. Make sure he is the one touching the temple. I don't know if he's live streaming, guys. Can you tell me if he is or not? I want to make sure I'm not kind of poaching from what he's doing. And we're going to give a little boom and a little boom. There it is. And another one. Here we go. There we go. Some shades. Take the pictures. Take the pictures. Okay. Well, this is all for you guys then. Okay. So Law now has the Lost Temple. Ronnie is inside. Jesse is inside. So again, this is it. This is it. You just saw the stream. Yep. Yeah, he deserves it. You know, a lot of, and this is typical of the server. I'm telling you, it's the most I've ever seen. I cannot Legend Ronnie's the king. I cannot believe that the amount of misinformation that has come out of some of the folks' mouths on this server. I cannot believe it. It's frustrating. Yeah, congrats to Law. Hail King Ronnie. He is the king. Yeah, this was a long time coming. And when I say a long time, right, we have been asking for months. We have been asking for months to get this done. And not this, like, this was not our intention at all. This was not our intention at all. Hold on. I don't know what any of these are, but I'm going to hide them just because. So, again, this was not our intention. We did not want to take over the server. We did not want to take over the Lost Temple for ourselves. This was not our intention. We did not want to do any of this. We did this for the kingdom. They allied against us, and the folks that were fighting, unfortunately, just didn't have the manpower to do it. And I think that's indicative of how we would have performed in KVK had we let the status quo stay the same. And we realized that. We saw what was coming. And again, we had been asking, rotation, please, let us help. Let us put gems on every day for the server so we can give a buff to everybody on the server. Let's match it with a rune from the temple every day. Oh my God, that's such a crazy idea, right? Let's give somebody a 25% research buff when they're researching something that takes 100 days. How is that so hard? Why can't you just say, yeah, that makes total sense. You guys have some gems. You guys pay a little bit into the game. I just don't get it. And then to take this, right, and try and twist it and spin it into a threat. Unfortunate. People had to quit this game and get zeroed in this game because two people couldn't close their mouths. That's how powerful an R4 in an alliance is. You need to select your R4s carefully. It's as simple as that. All right, let's get back to the chat because this is done. War's over. I think that, again, this is a new world. We're in a brave new world right now in K16. I think there's some people that are a little bit scared because it's change. In this instance, I really do think change is good. Ultimately, really what we're looking at here is triumph of, when I say coordination, it was a little easier for us to coordinate since we only had about 15 players. So we were able to kind of coordinate with ourselves. But coordination, skill, talent, certainly a little bit of money involved. I also think, commander, troop level, and then also having a raw megalodon like Aaron certainly helps as well. There were some times where we were getting pushed where it was really kind of back and forth, and then a guy like Aaron rolls in and he just starts smashing because there's just no care. And he knows his role, right? His role is to impose his will on the battlefield, and he certainly did a good job of that. Ronnie did a great job of it. I tried my best to do what I could, holding down different fronts, making sure that we're not getting pushed too hard. I think ultimately, and you're going to start seeing some notifications probably, I do apologize. They went after the flags, and that's great. Flags are a big deal, but flags don't kill troops. Troops kill troops, and we were doing a lot of that while they were taking care of some flags. They were sitting there killing flags while we were killing troops, and it was not easy to do. There were some people that got zeroed that really didn't deserve it, and I think they got sucked in with the propaganda that was kind of going out there. So really appreciate all of y'all's support, and again, really quick, while I've got a lot of folks watching here, I think we're up to like 220, 230. I really do want to appreciate all the support. I know Ronnie's gotten a ton of support, myself, even Aaron, new to the kingdom, he's been getting a ton of support too because he's well known off K5. And then obviously Jesse loves the support as well. Cuba J, General Wasabi. I mean, there's just so many people in the alliance that really do appreciate your support. I know that it was tough. It was tough to do, but it needed to be done. So that's really what I got to say about that. I'm off my soapbox on this. Let's just enjoy the Lost Temple here. This is the first time that we've ever touched the Lost Temple since it was originally captured. And this is, again, a long time coming. I think that, again, going forward, we're going to be a really strong kingdom in KVK, especially if migration happens right before it or right during it. I think we're going to be in really good shape. So there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about, and I'm trying to remember it because there's just so many things going on. I've been up for Lord knows how long. Like I said, it's just after 1 a.m. here, and yeah, it's been the last couple of days. Yeah, mercy of God, thumbs up. It's been a long few days. There was a couple nights there where there was zero sleep. I think Ronnie and I both we were up for about 36 hours straight during the fort war part. So we were still recovering from that when we got attacked yesterday, I guess was it yesterday? I don't even know. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday. So yeah, it was a long time coming. Let's go through some chats. I know y'all been kind of sending out questions, and yeah, congrats, man. Yeah, that's. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. I came to this server because of Ronnie, and it wasn't because he was powerful or because he was a YouTuber or because anything really other than I kind of clicked with him. He had an air of knowing what he wanted, and he's not a fake guy. He doesn't have a hidden agenda. He's always frank with me. We've talked one-on-one all the time. We talk every day, and I never have a sense of this guy's hiding something from me. So I clicked with him really well. I think we play the game the same way, and I think that's ultimately what led to the shift. So obviously they hit us really hard at the beginning, and YouTubers at the beginning like Gecko and Chiscool and Shinchi, I think they were hitting it really early. And they saw the devastation that all those alliances were doing, right? And yeah, I think they were just chalking this up to, yeah, Ronnie just bit off more than he could chew, and unfortunately, he dragged a bunch of good players with him. That's not the case. We were in it for the long haul. We had no intentions of stopping. That was just phase one, and phase one was let them kind of blow their load a little bit, and we are going to clean up the mess and really kind of go after these guys. And they were not ready. They were just not ready for what got unleashed after the first wave that they hit us with. And it was a tough punch, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough punch. They hit us hard. It's kind of there's nothing you can do when when you are being attacked by 8 alliances at the same time. There's just not. And all you can do is survive, defend, get together, and cause damage how you can. And the way that we could cause damage where it could affect them from a contrition standpoint is to kill their troops, damage their troops, use their resources, use their speed ups, make them teleport 5 times in an hour, burn those teleports up. I mean, those were things that we were doing nonstop, and it adds up over the course of 24 or 48 hours. I thought this war was going to be a week-long war. Just going to be honest. I had that planned on my calendar. I thought this was ready to rock and roll. Looks like I'm getting some kind of a title. Oh, I'm a general. Look at that. General. General. I was justice before, so I don't even pay attention to the titles. Like I don't even care about that stuff. That's why all the information that was getting put out there, we don't care about any of this stuff. These titles mean nothing. We fought this entire war as the slave, as the beggar, as the fool, as the sluggard, as the traitor. I mean, every bad title that we had, we had it the whole time. They never left. Oh yeah, the debuffs left as soon as Big Rick B took over TGS. He removed them from us. I really appreciate that, Big Rick B. Thanks for taking that slave title off me. It felt good to get it off after a few days. So you want to see the entire map of K16. It looks a little rough, guys. It looks a little rough. Okay, so this was our area. And then over here, where FR, up here, FR, TSU, all this area was law as well. So we took a hit. I think a couple flags will basically connect all this stuff back if we want to, which I think we do. So unfortunately, again, just a sideways maneuver that was impactful. TGS was able to get one of the R4s inside of Law to spend all of Law's alliance credits. So we are not able to build that many flags at the moment. That was Bogsy, and he's going to get zeroed at some point. Why did Big Rick B decided to join the war? That's a very loaded question. I'm going to let you ask that to him. He loves emails. Go ahead and reach out to him. I think if I had my own opinion on it, and it's a very slight one, he is one of those guys that really wants what's best for the server. He was working diligently throughout the war, before, after, during, all of it, to try and stop it in a positive way. Even when it was shifting against us, whenever we were getting hit on 80 sides, he was still trying to stop it. I think some of it was on his part alone. We never reached out to him to do any of the talking, so he took it upon himself. He's that kind of guy. So we were glad to have him in Law when he first joined, and we're certainly glad to have him now as part of the Zone 3 Alliance group here, and looking forward to seeing what we can do to bring this kingdom up and ready to speed for KVK now that all this is done. Did Sir Jazz fight you guys? Yes, he did, and very, very good shout out to Sir Jazz. He fought well on the field. Definitely gave Ronnie a couple good fights too. I think he gave him a fate changer once or twice, which is pretty hard to do. So kudos to Sir Jazz. There were a couple times there where his city was a target. or it was going to be a target, and we didn't target him because we do really respect Sir Jazz. I think he's a quality player. He plays the right way. He's not doing things sideways or trying to manipulate or anything. He's just a quality player, and he plays the game the right way. So I think really with him, we've shown him some respect. We've not really tried to zero him, things like that. You like my beard? I'm actually thinking about shaving it off a little bit. So I've been keeping it around for y'all, but I'm actually thinking about going back to my goatee. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm contemplating, but we'll get there together one way or another. We'll figure it out. Okay, so yeah, no more debuffs. What's the buff for today? Well, let's check. It's a pretty easy. It's a pretty easy search. You just search for the runes here, you see, and you figure out which one's down. So stone production, food gathering, wood gathering, march speed, resource production. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's. Yeah, there's not any like. Yeah, there's not any building speed or research speed buff. So I think for the good of the server, we should probably do a troop training buff, and I think that's probably one of the most expensive ones. But as you can see in the top right corner of my screen, and I'm sure there's probably about 4 or 5 other players in our alliance that have the same, we can afford it. So that's the plan, is to, again, help the server recoup, regenerate, get back on track. Okay? And again, if y'all are seeing this and I'm a little laggy here, I did not get a chance with all the activity over the last week to adjust any settings on my video. I move around a lot when I talk, so that's probably causing a little bit of lag because the computer has to render it, and this being a Mac, it only knows how to put out like high quality, high def video, so it's probably going to be a little laggy or jittery to y'all. I do apologize. Congrats on the victory, Jose. And again, if I forgot to mention your name, I do apologize. I'm trying to go through a ton of stuff here, and we've also got some things that we're working on at the moment. Joker of God, appreciate you messaging me. I had a couple laughs at your jokes. That was really funny. I'm in hello from K16. Well, you're on my server, buddy. Hello again, I guess. We have a member in our kingdom with 136 mil power. With your knowledge, how much money you predict he spent? I don't even want to think about that number, but I know it's in 5 digits, and it probably starts with a 2 or a 3. I'll just put it that way. Will Dara be zeroed? I have no intention of zeroing Dara. While we were still fighting, Dara took a really solid rally. And to be honest with you, I think the majority of the deaths in that rally were his reinforcements. So the folks that were reinforcing from 3PN were the one taking most of the deaths. It kind of triggered a weird scout and a weird battle report afterwards because of how many reinforcements he was getting. So I don't know exactly how much he lost. I want to say there was quite a few, but I think a lot were reinforcements as well. So we'll see how that goes. I don't want anybody to get zeroed, but when you're fighting 18 to 1, 20 to 1 odds, I mean, you got to do something, right? Like, you can't just sit there and be like, okay, and especially considering all they did was zero all of the lower players in law. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, they were wasting all their troops on 5 million players and 7 million players unshielded, thinking that's going to demoralize us from fighting back. If anything, that emboldened us more to make sure that they, their zeroing didn't go unpunished. And we certainly did that. Ahmed, I'm also was respect you though, but you zeroed me. I'm sorry. Probably needed some resources and needed to inflict some damage. So if I zeroed you and you're on this channel, I do apologize. It was for the good of the war, and friends after war is certainly something I believe in. That is what it is. It's war. It's a war game. Okay, please put a debuff on Chris saying he's an asshole. Thanks. I will show that. I know it's got a cuss word in it, but I'm going to show it just because. So he is no longer in TGS, and neither is Waleed. They have been officially booted from TGS. And yeah, I think he'll probably get they'll probably get a couple of the debuffs for a little while. I don't think anybody else. Maybe Bogsy will get one just because he was a douche when he left, and you know, we'll spread it around if it's necessary. But again, we're just really trying to push forward with the kingdom. Debuffs will go to people that really triggered this whole thing. This didn't have to be this way, and that's what's really so disappointing. I didn't want to see half of law get zeroed because they didn't log in quickly enough to put on a bubble. It's unfortunate. Chris Guy is not the leader of TGS. He was never the leader of TGS. Chris was an R4 that really was playing on another server mostly. He started on this server and got really high and got to T5 and then moved on. I think he was trying to grow his YouTube channel, and he wanted to do it as free to play. So I don't know. I don't know enough about him, to be honest with you. He wasn't really around that much, and I've been on the server for about 4 or 5 months. So I just saw Ronnie mentioning that he was getting close to T5 as he was going up, but that's really all I know about the guy. What are my buffs as general? Let's go check. It's probably troop attack and defense would be my guess, something like that. Yeah, troop attack and training speed. Oh, I need that so bad. I will take that all day. All day. So, again, the kingdom buff is going to be going on later today. It's going to be after the morning Guardian kills so that everybody has a chance to participate in them, because most people are going to be on during the day in some way, shape, or form. So that's the plan. Is the Lost Temple going to rotate? Again, we don't have everything fully fleshed out yet. It's still in the beginning stages because this all just happened. It's really weird how it happened. What caused the war to begin with? You've got so many videos to watch, Triquarius. You're behind. I can't go through how this all started. There's videos from Ronnie where he kind of explains the past. He explains the fact that we've been asking for months, with a no being the response over and over and over and over again. It has been a long run, everyone. Yes, it has. Please go for one battle. What am I supposed to battle? You want me to battle the 25 barbs that are sitting outside of my city? What's your rank in Mightiest Governor? It was second. My rank was second. Let me see if it'll show it. Historical rankings. Yeah. That's crazy. That's really crazy. 217 million. Almost 218 million. I almost broached 100 million. And Aaron, I mean, you can tell who was fighting, right? Look at all the TGS and Oz up there. They had nothing before the war started. They had nothing. So, I mean, Hatelli fought, Broman fought, Dara definitely fought. Dara was probably the hardest one fighting. Dara was porting all over the place and trying to defend multiple different alliances. And that's the problem with having, I don't want to call it Care Bear. I kind of do, but I don't want to call it Care Bear because there were some really good fighters in some of these alliances. 3P had a couple good ones. Oz had a few good ones. TGS had a few good ones. French had like one or two. DIW didn't even come in zone 3. And then they started forcing all the smaller alliances to take out AOC and zero those cities. Those were all jumpers. Under threat of annihilation, they forced our partner alliances to abandon us and zero AOC. That's who we were dealing with. So kudos to everybody who fought. I think everybody fought really well. I don't think there was anything too crazy going on. We did kind of crash the server because of everybody that was observing, I think, is what caused the server to crash. But I know that we had 3 or 4 rallies coming against my city, Ronnie's city, Aaron's city, and I think maybe Kamikaze city. And then everybody crashed. And we couldn't log in for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We were flipping out. That was the worst feeling in the world whenever you are getting rallied by a full rally and you can't log in to defend your city. That's a little rough. That was a tense moment. But luckily, when we logged back in, I think everything just kind of stopped. So we were able to kind of restart and address things accordingly. What will happen with AOC? Again, we're still kind of talking about what we're going to be doing. I think ultimately there'll probably be a version of AOC for battles. There'll be a version of AOC for the jumpers that like to come to K16. Not a whole lot more information than that, because honestly, I don't know everything just yet. This was all new, and that's what I was kind of getting into. So we were fighting up until about maybe 12 hours ago, 10 hours ago, maybe. We were fighting to the point where they had just built flags into the center of where our flags were. So let me show you what I'm talking about. And most of the flags are gone now. But here. So TGS had worked their way, and here's still one. They had worked their way here. They had a flag right here, and they were touching all these flags. So we were kind of standing by, waiting for them to start attacking. They were reinforcing over here. All their players were right here, and here, and here. I mean, they were loading up. They were loading up with all their players. They were stacked. And on top of that, over here, they were building a fortress with another alliance. They had brought PRG into it, which is a dead alliance, but it's got some tech, so it's not too bad, so that they could double rally us, was the idea, I'm assuming, for why they would have that. And we started a rally on the PRG fortress because we didn't know how long. Well, we had about an hour left before it finished, and we knew we needed to take it down because we didn't want to have them have a foothold here, because then that's even more flags that we need to deal with. And we also didn't want to have to deal with multiple rallies coming into our flags. So at that point, we started rallying it. They stopped building the fortress, and they started really kind of trying to ticky-tack the two flags over here. So these two right here are the ones that they were going after. And all of a sudden, everything just kind of stopped. Like, it just stopped. Everybody kind of stood still. And then next thing you know, we're getting reports that people are quitting, people are zeroing themselves, people are upset because what happened? Big Rick B ported over here and started attacking them from behind. Now, I don't know if that's what caused it, but I do find it a little coincidental that as soon as Big Rick B finally started attacking TGS, they finally got the message, because Big Rick B has been TGS forever. Yeah. So with that in mind, Big Rick B shows up, starts laying down the hate. And sure enough, I guess it all just kind of clicked. Maybe we're wrong. They were already getting beat, but it was going to drag out even more. And then now that there's another T5 who is their friend. I mean, Big Rick is their friend, still is their friend. But he felt so strongly that they were in the wrong that he thought the only way that they would get it is if he joined in and fought. And we've been fighting, guys, for a week, and he's never joined in, and we've never made him join in. We've never said, hey, you need to join in or you're going to get booted. We've never had that conversation with him. We did not want to put him in that corner. So with that in mind, I think he understood that, hey, change needs to take place. They're not getting it. This is the only way I can get across to them. So he did what he had to do. And I appreciate his efforts for that. And again, that's why he's now leader of TGS. Again, it had nothing to do with Hinsey. I think that ultimately we trust Big Rick B a lot more than Hinsey, just because it seemed like, and in talks with Hinsey, because I talked with Hinsey during, before, and after, it seemed like everything just kind of got away from him. And it had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the people that he let support the Alliance in the R4 tier. And there has to be consequences for that. So that's where we're at right now. That's today's world. That's the new world we're living in K16. Let's get some more chat here. I believe that I'm missing like tons of stuff just trying to explain everything because this is 48 hours of explanation. It's crazy. Let me see if I can catch up. Congrats on the victory. Watched Ronnie's lives. Didn't realize you had taken the temple. We just did it. We just took the temple. So let me grab some resources. I definitely need those after the last few days. So yeah, the temple is now ours, guys. In case y'all are just joining the stream late, looks like we're almost up to 300 people live. That's pretty sweet at 1:30 a.m. Appreciate y'all joining me in here. Just joined the stream. Did they make peace or what? Yes, they made peace in one way, shape, or form. Peace was attained through submission, surrender, zeroing themselves, requesting to not get killed, all the above. So at the end of the day, it was quite a fight the past few days, and I really appreciate everybody in the alliance, and certainly everybody across the different kingdoms showing their support. Again, if I haven't reached back out to you, it's because I've got literally 100 direct messages in my mail, and when I'm fighting 8 alliances at once with just 15 people, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to respond. So please understand that I do appreciate your support. I'm not ignoring you. It's just there's a lot to sort through. I will start sorting through it. I think I did start sorting through a few after everything just finally started to calm down. I'm really looking forward to how KVK is going to be with this kingdom. I'm really looking forward to how this kingdom rebounds after this battle that's happened over the last 3 or 4 days. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we come together. I think there's a lot of mending to be done, but there's also a lot of opportunity for us to really shine in KVK, and I think there's going to be some big changes coming up that are going to be beneficial for the kingdom as a whole. So let's see. Congrats. Appreciate all the congrats. Rip Ivar, 100%. For those of you that watched Ronnie's stream, when he did that, you probably heard me in the background going, no, don't do it. Because I didn't want to see a player like Ivar go that way. If he was going to get zeroed, I wanted it to be because he was going guns blazing against rallies or against, 2 different people attacking him. I mean, don't go and zero yourself on Ronnie City. That was the worst way to go. And I feel like he probably needed to do that. He felt like he was so frustrated. I can't imagine getting to that point where you're like, just F it, screw it, and just zero yourself on a city. I feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him. I feel bad for him. I did not want him to zero himself. He was a good piece of K16 that got lost today. I hope he doesn't quit. I hope he comes back and builds his troops back up. Your research is still there. Your buildings are still there. You just need to train up some more troops, man. You lost a lot today. I do want you to come back, though. I do really want you to come back. And I hate seeing people zeroed like that. I hate it. Ivar and Chris's commanders were so bad with skill levels all over the place. I mean, guys, not everybody has the ability to put money into the game like some other people. Like, they do what they can with what they've got. And there's some players that are in the 30-40 range on this server that have put really good money into the game and have just progressed along. And that's okay. Like 30-40 million is really good. You can do a lot of damage with 30-40 million power. Hey, we have the same time. Where are you from, if you don't mind? I am in Virginia, and I live in Northern Virginia, just south of D.C. in the U.S. Pretty boy. Waldine, if everyone was at war with you, who can you trust now that the war is over? It's a good question. I think, again, we're really relying on the folks that weren't doing the talking to continue the server on in TGS and in Oz and even through PN. I think ultimately the leadership on all of those alliances were misinformed, and they were also driven down a path that most of them probably didn't want to go on, but they felt that, again, with the misinformation they had was for the good of the kingdom, or more importantly, they thought that they were going to get booted from Zone 3 or booted from an alliance because they didn't join in. So, again, I think that support via threat, which is what happened to a lot of these alliances, should not be rewarded. It certainly shouldn't be. There should be some consequences for the people that drove those decisions. But for the people that were the soldiers in the field, just doing what they were told, supporting their alliances, I can't fault them for that. They didn't backstab anybody. They were just doing what they needed to do to help their alliance out. I don't see them going anywhere. I certainly hope they don't. And we'd love to make sure that they're still a big part of K16 and everything going forward. How many big whales fighting, including you, for law? I think 4 or 5, something like that. Let's see. Can't show support because MKiz is with me on 149. Okay. You famous, dude. I don't know how famous I am, but getting there, I guess. I don't know. What's up, Drag? Nice to see you guys. Get it. Zarts, appreciate you. Pro Wombat, appreciate you. Absolute Truths with Z's. It's crazy. Hey, Dragothian from Samuel Choi. There's 2 sides to this. Now opponent, some will quit the ones who got zeroed. What's best way do you think to damage control this? I think we're doing it the right way right now. We've already told everybody that it's going to be business as usual for all of the kingdom buffs. So whenever they need architect, scientists, all those good things, they're all going to get them, no problem. And again, every day there's going to be a corresponding training, research, or building buff to help the alliance and the alliances and the kingdom grow faster, and that's what we need. So I'm hoping that will show them that, again, this was all for the kingdom and not for YouTube views. And that's another thing. I specifically didn't post a single thing on YouTube about this until now, after it's over, because I didn't want this for YouTube. I don't go looking for war just to put it on YouTube. It made no sense. I could have put out 7 other videos between then and now versus doing this one live stream for about an hour and a half or an hour or however long this ends up being. This had nothing to do with YouTube. And the person that was driving that conversation was the first person to put something on YouTube about it. It just doesn't make sense. How do these things not click bells in people's heads and say, wait a minute, these 2 things don't line up? Maybe I should think about this a little more critically. All right, so Sam Choi, similar situation may happen in my kingdom. I hate that. I hope that's not the case. I hope that the people who are in the power understand that they need to have a conversation and not immediately say no, because that's what ended up happening here. Muhammad, or basically he don't want all his money go to waste, and after deep thinking, he found that the best way to join the flow and flipping over TGS. Anyway, congrats on the victory, guys. Is that for Rick? I don't know what you're talking about. Dragothian, I saw there's only a few of you were fighting. Don't know the numbers. I don't want to know the numbers, guys. To be honest with you, I've got reports that I haven't even seen because of how fast the battle reports and scoutings were scrolling, and then all the alliance flags that were dropping and getting scouted and scrolling. And I didn't experience half of this war because it was so big. So really, just again, it was an all-out crazy war, and I'm glad we came out on top. I really am happy about that, and I'm ready to move on. I mean, that's really all it is. Ox Drag, 3PN supported you in letter. Don't hurt them because of a mistake they did following TGS and Oz. They don't deserve this. When you say they supported me in the letter, they didn't fight with us after the letter and then attacked us 2 days ago without warning. I'm not sure where there's any wiggle room there. That's not really a gray area. And to be honest with you, and this is real talk. This is real talk right now. You're going to get it. Jesse probably doesn't want me to say it, but it's going to get said. when talking with most of 3PN, and this isn't everybody, so don't take it as everybody. El Flamingo's not that way. That's about it. They say one thing and they do another, and it's whatever is convenient to them. And they saw an opportunity to possibly take our territory, and I guarantee you that's what the conversation was. TGS comes to them and says, "Hey, we need your help. Ally with us, take out Law, and we'll give you their territory." It had to be something to that effect. And they also said, "Hey, oh, by the way, we've got the French, and we've got DIW, and we've got MJP, and we've got RIB, and we've got Oz. Who else am I missing?" There's like, I'll tell you what. Let's go through it. TGS isn't even number 1 anymore. Look at that. We're number 6. That's crazy. I haven't even looked. This is the first time I looked at this. So, Oz, TGS, 3PN, FPC, WSO, RIB, FR, DIW, LDTS, MJP, 3PO, PRG, TGS2, FPC, 2KD, 3.0, LDTS, SPB, AU $. All of those alliances were against us. This will probably not look this way in a few days, and it's going to be because of some shuffling. Right now, Oz is number 1. To be honest with you, I think they kind of bowed out after the initial push. I didn't really see many of them. There was only their top players in, like Dara. The majority of them just stopped. I don't know if that was because they didn't agree or if because they didn't want to get zeroed or whatever that looks like, but I'd say only maybe 5 or 6 players from Oz actually fought after the first push. TGS was definitely in it heavily for the long run. 3PN definitely was in it heavy because they were heavily invested. They knew what was coming if this didn't succeed. And now they're kind of getting a little bit of that right now, which, it is what it is. Law can consider sharing the ruler titles Queen, General Minister between the other top alliances to build trust and split responsibly. Well, we don't know what that is yet. We don't know the other alliances yet. We don't know the organization of the server yet. That would be the plan. Again, this would be business as usual. That being said, again, until we figure it out, there's nothing to spread. Right now, it's law inside. One way, shape, or form, whatever flag you've got, it's law. Rank power, please. This is the rankings. You want individual power? Is that what y'all are asking for? There it is. And yeah, I was at 59 million power, guys. I took quite a hit. That's what happens when you zero cities by yourself. Is you take a little bit of a hit on power. This number here, this number beside my name, that's a means to an end. That's all that is to me. That 55 million is a means to get things done. That's all that number is. Everybody in this list took a hit. A big hit. Some more than others. That's tough. Yep. All right, so let's go back to some more questions. Shiva, let's go. I'm not sure where we're going, Shiva, but we'll get there. I promise. What will happen to AOC now since Ronnie in law now? Claudius. AOC is the alliance we started in. We are now in law. So law is our alliance now. And we're going to figure out how to best use AOC in the coming days. AYYY, or IE. Law could consider sharing the ruler titles. Oh, we already answered that. Yeah, I got that. Putra, rank power, please. I already showed it to you. Is you will get the title. I've got the general title. I don't know if I'll ever get king. I don't really. Again, I'm not a big title guy. It doesn't really matter to me. In fact, to be king, you've got to be the R5 of the alliance, and I have zero desire to be leader of an alliance. I got too much to do in my life to manage an alliance from top to bottom. I'd much rather be a support character and somebody who contributes and certainly helps lead, but not the leader. I'll leave that to Ronnie, and he can figure out what he wants to do. Alfredo, Sun Tzu performance in this battle, really good, really good. Mainly because of his pairing with Barca, because he was able to take on 4, 5, 6 armies at a time, and that AoE damage debuff from Barca went really hard. And in fact, let me go ahead and reinforce. Let me give a little reinforcement here. I'll do that, and I'll reply those and give a little smile. All right. Yeah, he did really well. Sun Tzu was doing some good AoE damage. Okay, somebody's scouting. Okay, well, no big deal. That being said, so Sun Tzu did really well, and Barca helped a lot. I think with how many people we had to fight, anybody AoE based was helpful, and Sun Tzu was helpful. YSG was helpful. Those were my 2 main AoE commanders. Was just that. Yeah, we won. It's getting super scouted. Scout from far, 12. These guys are all a mile away. So, again, nothing to worry about here. Will Law accept new players after Kingdom Migration is up? Absolutely, we will. We will need to make sure that you're going to be a contributor to the kingdom, though. That's about it, though. Holy S, you guys actually won. It must have cost a crap ton of troop deaths. It did, Pravesh. I think, all in all, I probably lost about 500,000 or 600,000 T5 troops between the fort fight and the last 2 days straight of fight. And as you can tell, guys, I'm tired. It's been a long war, and when I say long war, it's relatively short, but it was long for us because we had so much to do. What is better for infantry, France or Rome? Rome is better for infantry, but France is really good if you're in war because your healing speed doesn't get used up as much. Healing speed ups. You guys deserve a spot in Zone 3. Well, we've got Zone 3 now. We got the whole thing. How about that? What do you think about Mehmet? I don't like him. I'm just going to double check these scouts just to make sure they're from nobody I know. Yeah. These are all the fanboys that were cheering us on in Kingdom Chat and holding down the fort for us while we were doing the work on the field. Drag, what happens to Chris? So he zeroed himself on Aaron City last night. So about this time yesterday, he zeroed himself on Aaron City. So he's no longer a factor as far as the game goes, unless he wants to pump a ton more money into the game. If he does, I know that the majority of the server will not like that. Certainly anybody in my alliance will not like that, and we'll address that accordingly. Man, on migration to you guys, Ronnie Nation. Yeah, hashtag Ronnie Nation. That's funny. Can we go well with... Can meat go well with Barca? Mehmet. It can if you're just sieging a city, but you got to max him out. Like, for Mehmet to work, you got to max him out. He's just like any other leadership commander. You've got to maximize that troop capacity, and then the expertise is really what makes him shine, especially with city rallies. But to be honest with you, infantry rallies are kind of king here. How many days are you guys at war? We were only at war, really, this part of the war, for 2 days. 2 days was it, and they were done. Let's see. What about Japan? As far as the civilization, they're okay. I think that infantry-wise, Rome would be better. Japan's a good overall civilization because it's 3% attack for all troops. and the scout speed's kind of worthless, but probably would have been in handy past 2 days, but that's not worth a slot for a buff in my opinion. Can't beat the legend Ronnie and Drago. I agree. We just proved that. Is your plan to get Saladin if he's available? Of course. If I see Saladin, I will want him in my inventory. I want to start leveling him up, I'm sure. Bonnie Dune Homestead. How cool. Glad the good guys are now in control of your kingdom's temple. Now to do this in our kingdom of despotic tyrants. I hope that's how it goes for you, Bonnie. I know that you've been a follower of all of us here, and I hope that you straighten out your kingdom well, and if not, you're more than welcome to come over and join us. I'm sure we'll have you. Liege of Jevni. This war reminded me of our war on 116. That's serendipitous. We got jumped by the top alliances also. Hopefully it went well for you like it did here. Yeah, those are just little governors. This is annoying. Stop doing this, guys. I don't know what's right and what's you goofing around. Alpha, that's crazy. You guys are beasts for defeating your server. It wasn't the whole server. I'm not going to say it was the whole server, but it was like 10 alliances, guys, and they were spread across the map, and they did what they could do. Jogini 95, seems to me TGS and Oz were trying to suppress you guys and not let you grow in hopes you guys eventually give up and join them in TGS. Do you agree? It's possible. I think that was Chris's first response is, why should we give you a spot in the rotation? Just join TGS. Like that was their only response was no, or just join TGS. Like that's the fix for everything. It just didn't make any sense. Like nothing was being taken seriously. That's why that last paragraph in that letter was written, because they don't take anybody seriously unless they see them as a threat. So alliance only for KVK is good or bad? I don't know what that means, but you want to have, for KVK, you want to have multiple really strong alliances for that to work. Samuel Choi, right now we have an Aaron type of player, unlimited money as far as I know, 230 million kills, whoa, 5.5 million dead, mostly T5. Only reason two family is equal went to peace due to KVK. Do you think LT controlling? If you got a player like that, I mean, let them, as long as they're taking care of the kingdom, you let them do what they need to do and just support them, because they're going to be the ones that are going to carry you to victory, more than likely. All right, so Ben Mar Sanchez. It went well for us, Dragon. Right, they are the jumpers in your server. Okay, that's cool. I am Cookie. What do you think about Constantine? I don't know. He seems like he'll be a pretty good support character. I think it's going to be one of my last commanders to level up because he's legendary, so he's going to be really hard to level up, and unless we're going up against, he'll be good in KVK because he'll provide a lot of good buffs to groups, but that's, I mean, one, we don't even have him yet. He's still sitting in the little, the bottom left of your screen every time you open up your commander screen. He's still sitting there, really waiting for them to get released. I'd love for it to be the case. They released them over 2 months ago. And do you think he would be a good pair with Richard? He'd be okay with Richard, but to me, he's not really a fighting commander. He's more for support. So he does have fighting stats like the health buff and the all the other buffs that come along with his first skill, but he's not meant for battle in the sense to do damage. Like, he'll be a tank, that's for sure. Prabesh, what instigated the war and why were a lot of alliances against you? You got to go back in the live stream to see that, and then you got to go see Ronnie's video as well. He gave a pretty explanation of even before that with the Oz 5 pass and why we started that skirmish as well. Samuel Choi, I hope it's multiple alliances. You can do KVK, not just top one. I don't think it's that. I don't have any information on it because I'm not Lilith, but I hope it's going to be multiple alliances. I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with, just like Ark of Osiris is, it's also top 20 or whatever that is. There'll be a threshold and you'll meet it. You'll all join in the KVK area, and then you'll spread out to your areas to do what you got to do. I'm hoping that's the way it's going to be. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to be. Best beard on YouTube is live. Hello, Drago. Abby Gerald, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Again, if I haven't mentioned your name, there's been so many comments. The just keeping up and trying to explain and talk about why I'm live streaming tonight, and just catching everybody up on the war that everybody in the game, it seems like, has been watching. It's been hard to keep up with the chat, so I appreciate y'all joining, and I appreciate you supporting us. How Games, 2 days against 4 alliances. That's got to be the most unorganized 4 alliances I've ever seen. They were organized in the sense they were hitting simultaneously, they were attacking flags, they were doing the right things against normal players. So if this was a normal alliance, we'd have been gone in the first hour. Like, we would not have stuck around because there was nothing else that we could do from a fighting standpoint. But this is not a normal alliance. We've got 4 whale players, and really 3.5. I mean, everybody keeps calling Ronnie a whale. Like, he did not spend. Like, spend. Like, he's put money into the game just like everybody else that's around that level. He's not dropping thousands of dollars on this game. So, kudos to him for starting from the beginning and working his way up and putting money in strategically. I think is what's gotten him to where he is. He's certainly not a whale, but he's not, a goldfish either. You and Ronnie deserve this victory, and thanks to you guys, we learned lots of stuff. Benmar, thank you, I appreciate that. Bonnie Dune Homestead, I may take you up on that. See how it goes, bud. I hope you're coming over. Pro Wombat, Constantine and Richard would be crazy, healing all that health too, and he's really good for Garrison. Yeah, again, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. I don't know exactly what he's going to be yet because he's not released. I think, to be honest with you, too, there's 2 legendary commanders that are not released yet. And, again, I think they're probably going to get nerfed a little bit. At least Saladin, I think, will probably get nerfed a little bit. So, I Am Cookie. Is a 4-1-2-1 Richard and 4-2-1 Charles a good pair? Richard and Charles are a good pair. You're really boned up the first skill with those 2 commanders. You should have waited until the 5th one, and I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir here when it comes to your 2 commanders there. But, they'll work on the battlefield. I think you need to cross your fingers on your next sculptures to see if that first skill gets maxed to 5 on either one of those. I would also pick one and max that one first. So you've already unlocked Richard's 4-1-2-1. I may recommend, unless you've got one really highly leveled up and one that's not, I'd probably recommend Charles, doing him first since you haven't unlocked all the skills. And that way you'll have a better chance of getting that 5th first skill point. So good luck to you on that. Dango, wow, finally, dude, congrats. Yeah, finally, this was, again, a long time coming, not just from the last few days of fighting, but, again, we were waiting, we were asking, we were patiently waiting to get included in the conversation of the kingdom, and I thought that we warranted that conversation, and that's kind of where things went sideways, I guess, is maybe we thought a little too highly of ourselves. I don't know. I think based off the last few days, I don't think that was the case. So where do you think Chris will go? Do you think he will keep playing? Yeah, I think he'll keep playing. He'll keep playing on the other kingdom that he plays on. I'm not sure which number that is, but I'm pretty sure he's in another kingdom. What time zone are you in? I am in EST, East Coast US time. So 2 o'clock. Hey, Drago, what's going on, my guy? Reinhardt, what's going on, buddy? He's a dolphin, not a whale. Huxham, yeah, he's a dolphin. He's a killer whale. Ooh, killer whale. That's Ronnie right there. He's a killer whale. He's a king whale. How about that? Fred Harris, did Aaron participate today? He did not participate today. I take that back. He logged on in the morning, zeroed a couple French, and then he left. So, again, he got his fun in early in the morning. He had some business stuff to attend to, some family stuff to attend to, so he took care of that. And, yeah, it was basically the rest of the alliance today, and that's when it happened. And, again, Big Rick B joining the battlefield definitely helped. I do appreciate him doing that for everybody. All right, so Raman, TGS is, I'm assuming that means gone. No, TGS is not gone. Just the couple folks in TGS that made all of this war video stuff possible for you are gone. My scroll button sucks, by the way, so that's why I'm missing questions. I am Cookie. Oof. Richard 4-8. Charles 21. Dude, max out Richard. I'm not saying that's the way, 100% way to go, but go for it. Ramen or crying like a child. No, TGS is good. TGS is solid. We've got Big Rick B in place, leading it now. Again, Henzy's a solid guy. He just and he even told me this personally. He did not want to have to send the mail that he had to send 2 days ago, but he did it because he was supporting his alliance, and I can appreciate that. I can respect that. Jose, I'm doing 5300 Charles, 5200 Richard, trying to make them both 5511 to run them. That's 100% right way to do it. I would definitely max out the second skill on both of those characters before you move on. Do not unlock like I did on your Charles, or it'll look like this. 5355. That's what you're going to get if you go past the second skill before it's ready to go. Okay? That's upsetting. That is very upsetting. Do you know how much I could have used that 6% defense and health? That's basically a is that a slave buff? That's what I've had. I've had a double slave buff for the last 3 days. How about that? All right. Chris have an account on 1198 with 20 million power. He's been active there. Yeah, I think he's playing free to play there. From what I heard through the grapevine, I don't, again, I don't know much about the guy. I just know that he played here and then now he plays there, and he came back literally the only day that he came back was the day that this all got started. So I don't know. Things happen for a reason, folks. That's just the way it is. Kill them all. I'll show that. Orca, I think. Yeah, killer whale. Orca. Orca Ronnie. Did I start a new euphemism? Factor 123. When does the springtime Jubilee bundle release, Drago? I have no idea. I want to say a couple days, hopefully. Usually they line this stuff up, right? But we do have a couple events. I might as well go over a couple of those while I'm doing live stream, right? So we've got the recharge rewards here. We've got this is something really important. So make sure you're getting these. This is 10, 20, 30 legendary commanders, guys, for 1,250 gems spent. You're never going to get that good of a deal. As free to play, I would put whatever you can in to get these. Easiest way to do it, and probably best value, right, is to do the 30-day gem supply, okay? And then you can do one daily chest. That'll get you, if you want to almost go exact, you can almost go exact, but I get the one on the right for Treasure of the King. I have been buying these 3 every day because it gives me Charles sculptures online. So those are Charles Martel sculptures. But with Mightiest Governor coming up next week, and in all likelihood, I'm going to try and win at least the top 2 on that Mightiest Governor. So I should have enough Charles sculptures to max my Charles out because I only need 2 more points. That's 160 sculptures. So we'll be in good shape. Again, guys, I'm glad that y'all are supporting Ronnie. I'm glad that you're supporting Law. I'll take the scouts for right now. It's fine. I was gonna get on y'all, but what am I gonna do? Y'all are happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. Abby Gerald, when I see Chris' video, I was like, dude, I hope Ronnie is not gonna kill K16 because it would be bad for small players. But after I saw Ronnie video, I said, well, go Ronnie, kill them all. Yeah, again, it was just a matter of people who were trying to control the message didn't get the message. And again, that was really bad for a lot of players that did not have the resources to fight a war against an alliance like ours. I'm not saying we're the best alliance. There's tons of alliances out there that are way more powerful than we are. Way more powerful. They've got more powerful players. They've got more of them. It's just here in this kingdom, we had a presence. We have a presence, and we have like 4 of the top 6 players before the changes this past few days. So again, just bad game all around, like bad manners. for, you know, a lot of the things that were being done. It is what it is. I was watching Aaron fight against Chris and others last night. Fred Harris, yeah, I watched that for the past week, pretty much since the Ford thing happened. It didn't go well for Chris. He zeroed himself on Aaron City. Let's see. Yeah, Chris D399 got zeroed. I mean, not fully zeroed, like 0-0, but he took a lot of dead. A lot of dead to the point of he stopped fighting for a while. I love the recharge rewards. Absolutely, I love the recharge rewards too. Let me show you a couple other things, guys. So we got the spring event. Like, it goes from like 2 events during a day to like 10. It's weird. So I've gotten a few of these done, but to be honest with you, I haven't really gotten much. So we've been fighting. And with that being the case, haven't gotten hardly any of my field collection done because we haven't been able to farm that much. I did get my academic elite trained. Second day, haven't used hardly any, if any, action points. City defense, again, haven't defeated any barbs. And technical power, troop power. I did a lot of that in the last few days. So now I got to do it again anyway. That'll get taken care of. These will all get taken care of. And then you go to Tree of Fellowship. So I'm on level 5 here. And I don't really see any really good rewards here, right? Like, the gold keys are nice, but this is not the same. This is not the turkey. This is not the Christmas tree. This is not the really big ones where you get like 50 gold sculptures and 8,000 gems and a 20,000 troop capacity training buff and things like that. The biggies, right? So this is a minor one. This is a minor event, to be honest with you, as far as this part. Now, the thing that really intrigues me, and these are key here, Pots of Dew, you need to make sure you get those to level up your Tree of Fellowship if that's something you're after. But Sunny Breeze. So look at this right here. You can get legendary commanders. Now, these, the flower petals, are really important. And I think you can only get 10 naturally as a free to play. You can only get 10. So to get the rest of these sculptures, because you can get 30 total, I already bought one, you have to spend the gems to fertilize. So if I wanted to buy another sculpture, I would need to get a few of these so that I can buy a sculpture, which is right there. So there's another sculpture in my pack. So that's where that stuff's coming from. I just need to be careful to not waste the leaves on the other stuff. I have no intention of getting this Spring Blossoms skin. Calf health means 0 to me, at all. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a brief rundown. I am gonna do a full review of this. I know there's a couple of them already out, but again, we've been kind of busy. We've been kind of busy doing some stuff. So, you know, with that being said, here's another look at the training day. I have gone down a couple spots because there's been some people trying to catch back up. But as you can see, Law, AOC, Law, TGS, 3PN. Glad to see Deadly Golem is building his troops back up. I was hoping he wasn't going to leave. This was before he quit. Even Lokichi, look at him. He's like a 5 million player. He's powering up. That'd be really good for him. So I'm level 6. So these are good. These are good sculptures to have. I'm in the 4 range. I'd love to be in the 10-20 range. But unfortunately, I've got Aaron to fight against. Yeah, the gem, you know, so you have to think about it. If you're VIP 14 or 13, and let me just check these again. I just, you know, I got to make sure. There's still time. So when you're VIP 13, you can buy legendary sculptures, from the VIP shop. And actually, I can show those to you right now because I haven't done it yet. So here you go. Legendary sculptures, 2,000 per sculpture. So it said it's 100 gems per flower petal, and you need 10 flower petals. That means 1,000 gems gets you one sculpture. So that's literally 50% off of 60% off in the VIP shop. So just do the math. That's a good deal if you're spending gems. If you're not spending gems, then don't do it. It's a good way to get Legendary Commander leveled up. That's why everybody who knows anything is telling you focus on one commander at a time. If you're doing that, these Legendary Sculptures will go to good effect, and you'll be able to use them on the battlefield quicker and more effectively. SJ22, are you going to upload like a summary of the war and like the big stuff that happened? This is kind of that summary. If you look back from the very beginning, we did summarize quite a bit of it. I'm not going to go into the minutia because, again, we're trying to move forward in the kingdom here. I think ultimately there's a lot of things that need to happen for this kingdom to heal. And me spouting off about he said, she said, and you know, this guy did this or this guy did that is not going to help. I didn't even record any of it. Let that sink in. I have a YouTube channel. I didn't even record any of it. Because, again, we were doing this for the kingdom. We did not do this for YouTube. And I wanted to specifically emphasize that on my channel because I'm one of the smaller YouTube content creators, guys. I could use the watches. I could use the views. I could use the subscribers, right? But I did not want this to be a subscription grab. I did not want this to be a look at me, look what we're doing, look, we're destroying these guys. That's not what this is for. This is to recap and give some closure to what just happened, to clue everybody in, because really I'm saving myself about 100 emails in game, which I already see piling up. And again, it's fine. I don't mind y'all reaching out. I know a lot of you I probably have already responded to. So bear with me as I weed through what I'm trying to do, as I'm also trying to help reorganize Zone 3. But you know, keep pushing this channel. Keep pushing what you want to see. Tell me what you want to see. I'm happy to give that to y'all. ARC registration starts in 3 days on my server. Me too. Me too. I'm interested to see how that's going to fan out. Buy Doom Homestead. Crap. So that is a good deal. I was thinking it was a push. Again, you got to be VIP 13 for that to make sense to be a good deal. But anytime, any place that you can get a legendary sculpture for gems that you may already have or something that you can earn by doing something in the game, you should do it because they don't come around very often. Gold keys, as you all know, can be random, no help, tons of help. It just doesn't, you don't know. Al Azhar, how did Aaron got to know about War on Your Kingdom, and how did he get T5 in like a few hours? Ronnie and money is the short answer to that. He didn't get T5 in a few hours. He got T5 in a few days. Aaron does very well for himself in the real world, so he chooses to spend that money accordingly. Brian Tanwee, if there's multiple people having Joan of Arc on the battlefield, does her first ability stack with others? No, it does not. It does not stack. Junior Murdoch, hey, respect for that. I'm not sure what you're respecting for that, but I'll take it. I try to be respectful of everybody, and I will take respect in return. Genzo, so hi, Dragothian. Level 60 Yulji and level 50 Richard versus level 50 Richard, level 60 Yulji. What is stronger, level 50 Richard versus level 60? The skill points in Yulji what maybe make me think otherwise. Usually I would say Richard Yulji every time. But because he's got 10 more talent points, it may make sense to go Yulji versus Richard. That would be a good test. Somebody should test that out. Fonzie, I still don't really understand why it was started, but hell yeah, you won. Good job. Yeah, it's complicated. There's a lot of folks doing a lot of things when it comes to trying to explain this. I may just do a quick 5-10 minute recap video if that's what y'all want. I didn't really plan on making it all about how this thing started. I really just want to get on and chat with you guys and talk to y'all about how we're doing and what we're doing right now, which is the Lost Temple, and just kind of reorganizing and helping the server the best we can, and trying to eliminate some folks that weren't really being in the best interest of the server after being attacked. Los Flores, good job, bro. Keep it humble. I try to. I really try to. I have a pretty blessed life, so I don't complain much. Okay. ULG Max, Richard. Okay. 5242. Okay, yeah, same thing. I mean, the skills don't matter. I mean, as far as who's first, who's last, it's it's late. The actual level. So, again, usually having 10 extra levels on a commander makes more sense, but even so, maybe even Richard still might be number one. I would probably still do number one. What's your opinion on kingdom migration? I personally feel a lot of imbalance may happen. Lots of pros, lots of cons. I agree. That's why a kingdom needs to be together, because if you don't coordinate, the kingdom could suffer if you don't come together and figure out what you want your kingdom to be. If you want your kingdom to be a free-to-play paradise where everybody farms, you can do that. You can do that. It doesn't have to be a war game. It should, because that's what this game is all about. That's why this game is so interesting, because there are consequences to your actions, which is great. But if you want it to be a farming paradise, you can certainly do that. And if you join a kingdom that is run by a king, that understands that, you can lock down your server with that king, and you're good to go. So you can make it however you want it to make it. Pro Wombat, how does Ronnie have so many more max legendary commanders than you, even though you spend more? That's the one thing you can't buy, guys. That's why you see all these whales running around with double C and Barca and Julius, because they win Mightiest Governor, and that's the only way they can get legendary sculptures. There's only certain amount of times where you can buy a legendary sculpture or gold keys that can give you legendary sculptures. Legendary commanders, especially legendary commanders and even epic commanders, they just take time. He's been playing on this server for almost 4 extra months than me. That's 4 extra months of gold keys, 4 extra months of events like this. That's 4 extra months of Lord of War. That's 4 extra, it's just all those things stack up. He wins Mightiest Governors all the time. He's usually first to third on every Mightiest Governor out there. That's why he's got all these max commanders. So that's an easy way to figure it out. That's how he gets all those extra sculptures. Mula, because you're a genuine person, which is why you deserve a lot more. Again, I try to be, man. Fred Harris, update on Dara and Mr. Pinky. Again, respect to both Dara and Mr. Pinky. They fought hard. I think Dara's doing okay. I don't think that Dara lost too many troops. Mr. Pinky, he was able to avoid pretty much almost all troop death. I don't think I saw him lose 1 troop death-wise. He was very strategic in how he used his troops. I think if he lost any dead, it was because they were reinforcing a city. It wasn't because he got rallied or because he got fed up and started throwing them in a city or anything like that. I was guilty of that. There were times where I was like, you know what? I need to go cause some damage. So I teleported behind their lines and took out some juicy targets that were in the teen to 20s range, mid-20s range, and just took them out myself, got all their resources, and then teleported back. That's why you see all the 120 plus millions at the top. That, and much love to our special friend who helped us out with some resources earlier yesterday. Are you from Detroit? No, I am from Virginia. I'm from the South. I'm a Southern guy. Game G, I am live now. I'm not sure who you are, bud. You streaming Misfits Arc again? I hope so. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'd love to stream his Arc. He had a really good one last time. It's all going to depend, guys, on this. Like, this is going to take some time. Like, this is going to take a little bit of time to get done. How good is Sun Tzu Max and Richard 5111? Good enough. Good enough to do some damage. It depends on how you use them too. That combo, you can basically farm forever. You don't have to really come back very often, especially if you're using all infantry. But you could even use cavalry with that group and still be in really good shape. But on the battlefield, I would make sure you spec full infantry, or make sure you use Richard as your primary so that you can do infantry and defense. Otherwise, I would also pair him up with Charles. That'd be a better pairing, which is why I use Sun Tzu with Barca on the battlefield. Just Zakul, what is the best epic commander in your opinion, bro? That is such a general question. There is no best, or else there would only be one. I like Sun Tzu, though. I like Sun Tzu. I like Pelagius. I like Osman. Joan has her benefits. Not a fan of Scipio or Yulji, to be honest with you. I do like Baybars, and that's about it. But there's no best. There's no best. If there was a best, there'd only be one. How much money you spend in this game? I'm not going to say that. Decent amount. Yuka, I saw you put a shot of a recharge event. My kingdom doesn't have it yet. I hope you get it if you don't have it yet. Bonnie, now that you guys have the burden of ruling a kingdom, that's correct. You have to never forget, but you have to give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, win hearts and minds. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, right? I think at the end of the day, I don't think we've pushed down anybody. I think the only people that are down and out are people that chose to be that way, by either their direct actions or them just taking themselves out of the equation. I don't think we've really taken anybody out of the equation that didn't warrant it. 3PN is really probably going to be the only wild card here as far as do we let them back in Zone 3 or not? Because right now they are Zone 2 banished. So we'll figure it out. We'll get there. Cavalry commanders for completely free to play, Pelagius and Belisarius, or Pelagius and Double C. Pelagius and Baybars. That'd be a good one. I'd say Pelagius and Baybars if you want to do damage. If you want a little more speed, you can go Belisarius secondary. Do not use Belisarius and do not use Double C as primary. I will ban you from the channel. I'm just kidding, but just don't do it. It's just not smart. Jan Palmenko, what up? Hey Jan, what's up? Zuper, Lance Dragonlancer, absolutely. That's a really good pair. Can you shout out "The South Will Rise Again" in a Southern accent? I don't know how that'll be taken, because that could be construed as some things. For those of you that don't know, Legend Noni. That can be construed as some things, so I'm not going to say it. You can ask me to say something else, and I'll say something in a Southern accent. I kind of have a little bit of a Southern accent, but not fully Southern. Like my wife's from Georgia, so she has a little bit of more of a Southern, especially when she's mad. She can get really Southern really quickly. SJ24, if I got Max Sun Tzu and Max Yulji, who should I use as the first commander and also infantry or skill path? I would go Sun Tzu primary, Yulji secondary, and I would go, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing barbs and anything but open field battle, I would do skill first, skill primary as full tree, and then spec infantry to Undying Fury. And then if you're doing infantry only on the battlefield, I would spec infantry and then spec into skill secondary to rejuvenate. Jiao, what is a good epic cavalry combo to kill gatherers during kill event? You want speed at that point, so you could do Belisarius with Baybars or Pelagius. I think you could still get away with doing Belisarius as secondary because you'll get the skill benefit of the mobility. You don't really need mobility tree per se, but you also don't need a whole lot of damage generally when you're killing farmers. So it's up to you. You can go either way. Pelagius, Belisarius, Pelagius. Throw Baybars in there however you want as well. Any of those will work. Pro Wombat, Richard plus Yulji or Richard plus Sun Tzu. I would go Richard plus Sun Tzu 100 times out of 100. All right, I'm getting way behind. That sucks. I was looking at the wrong place. I was on the gem button. Oh, yeah, it's on the gem button. Yeah, I do that too sometimes. Bro, are you INV? Inviting? I don't know. I'm assuming that's inviting. And no, we're not inviting anybody right now. Burn 3PN, glory hunting backstabbers. They will keep doing it. That's what I was saying during the war. I was like, I'm not going to stop until these guys are gone. But, you know, now having everything done and over with, it kind of gives you a little bit more of a calmer perspective on things. And we'll see. We'll see how things go. We're not going to burn them. We're definitely not going to burn any more of them. That was the agreement that we have. But whether or not they stay in Zone 3 will be a discussion. Is you don't use Minamoto. I do, but all the questions have been free to play. Minamoto is not free to play. Well, to me, it's free to play, but you got to put $200 into it to get Minamoto. So, Bonnie, let them earn it by their blood. Honestly, Zone 3, I would keep all those bastards out and have it my private playground. That's funny. Well, that's not nice, that guy. Let me hide that. Can't be dropping F-bombs in chat. Please debuff Dara. No, I'm not going to debuff Dara. Dara's alright. Alright, you're in timeout now. Sturgill. Which epic pair would be good for Joan with high defense? I'm not even understanding this question. Which epic pair would be good for Joan with high defense to keep her on the field as long as possible? Well, what defensive commanders do we have? Epic commanders. So what troops are defensive, right? Infantry, right? What infantry epic commanders do we have that have defense? This guy. I don't know which way I'm going right now. This guy. So if you look at this go here, damage taken reduced by 10%. And you have an infantry health bonus of 10% as well. So if you pair him up with Joan, that'll probably be the most defensive you can be with full infantry. And I would do Sun Tzu primary with infantry tree if you wanted it. That's what I would do. I know Double C is not supposed to be main, but how many times you were slower than weak targets and couldn't attack them? I don't regret getting him up to level 60. I'm not saying, you know, it's the worst thing in the world, but did you see how many times I needed to chase after anybody? Like, I had 15 people around me at all times the entire battle. I didn't have to chase after anybody. They were just coming and crashing against all of my armies, and then they would either stay and fight and beat me because they had 10 armies on me, or I would just come back into my city, and it was fine. There was never a point where I was like, man, I wish I had some more march speed during that, because honestly, it's a teleporting game whenever you're in a war. It's not run your cav clear across the map to go attack something. It's a teleporting game. So, all right, looks like we've been streaming for about an hour and 45 minutes. We're probably going to be wrapping it up here soon, so I'll grab a couple more questions. Darius, if I spend about 50 a week, what packs would you recommend? 50 a week? That's pretty substantial. Let's talk. So 50 a week, that means you can buy the daily special offer every day. You could do the 30-day gem supply, which is what I would do. If you can do the recharge rewards whenever those come up, I would also do those. I think that'll probably put you at about 200. There's other things that you can do. Certainly buying speed ups. I'm not sure where you're at in your progression, but that's a good idea as well. Scipio Joan worked good for me in Osiris, but I like Sun Tzu option better, as I never thought about that option. Yeah, Scipio's another good option too. Don't get me wrong. I just like Sun Tzu over Scipio. He does more damage. Scipio does have good defense, but the damage just isn't there. And that's why he starts to fall off, because he's a leadership commander. He's not specialized. You need to have specialized commanders when you're on the field. What about Richard and Joan? Well, Richard's not epic, is he? Of course, Richard's the best. I still think Richard Charles performs better than Richard Jones, and I think that's been proven out pretty regularly nowadays. Now, before, when she had the defense buff, that was a whole different story. SJ24, I got double C to level 60 just because I'm going to use him with Saladin. That might not be a bad idea. I think that'll be pretty good. It'll definitely kill some farmers. I miss Jessie. I miss Jessie too. I'm missing her because I'm talking to y'all. So, feel blessed. How come TGS gave up? What's going to be the future for Oz, 3PN, and FPC? You got an hour and 45 minutes of footage to watch, my brother. Imperiatus. TGS is not going anywhere. Oz is probably not going anywhere. 3PN is just maneuvering to Zone 2 for a little bit. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a timeout. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Antone is a good pair. Sun Tzu and Yulji. They can work, but not the best. Darius, again, thanks for the input. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Yuka, what super value bundle do you recommend for the rewards event? You always need to train troops, so War Machine's good. If you're not maxed out on your buildings, City of Hope is the best because you get the best rewards for resources and speed ups. If you're already maxed out and everything, I would still go with War Machine because you can never have too many troops. And then same thing, if you've already maxed out all your buildings and you need to research your crazy little head off, you need to do the Fountain of Wisdom to your heart's content. Do you plan on doing T5 Siege? Eventually, I will have T5 Siege because there will be nothing else to train. And I have it on good authority, which is not very good authority at all, to be honest with you, that there will eventually be higher than T5 troops, which means you got it. There will be more building levels to level up, and there'll be more research levels to level up. So, why not get it all maxed out right now? They're never going to get us to a point where there's nothing to invest in, there's nothing to max out, there's nothing to train, there's nothing to boost up. There's always going to be something, and when the majority of the game gets there, that's when they will boost it up, I'm sure. How and when got Lost Temple? I don't know what that means, but we have it right now, and we got it when it opened, so an hour and a half ago, and we got it by defeating the entire server, basically. And again, it was a hard battle, hard few days. I'm sure y'all can tell my eyes are drooping. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's almost 3 o'clock. I've still got almost 5 hours to stay up because I'm not going to bed until this temple is in law hands, at least for 1 week. And I don't see it being a problem making sure that we get everything set up before the next time this pops up, to have ourselves figured out for the entire kingdom, for the entire rest of the server life, and getting ready for KBK. So just the $5 bundle every day for the event. No. So you need to have 2,500 Yuka for the gem event. So if you're looking at this, right, it says you need to have 25. Oops, I'm covering everything up. I apologize. It says you need to recharge 2,500. If you do the $5, it only gives you 1,000, just over 1,000. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can do 2 $5 bundles, and that'll give you 2,100 gems. And then you can go to the daily bundle where you can get 400 if you want to spend the least amount of money possible. Now, to me, the best value is to continue buying these 30-day gem supplies, because that gives you 2,200, and that's $10. And then you can either do the 400 for the daily special offer, or again, I like to spend the extra dollar and get myself a gold key, where I hopefully will turn that into many, many legendary sculptures. So that's the plan. Waldy, not sure if you read my question. Is there any meaning behind the name Dragothian? No, funny story. I don't know if I want to say it right now. It's at the end of the live stream. You know what? I'll give you a hint. So I used to play a game called Ultima Online, and this was 20 years ago, 21, 22 years ago. And that was my game tag in that game. And it was one of the first and only MMO games that you could play on the PC. And really enjoyed it. I played it for years. It was a blast. I was a kid. I was a teenager at the time. And And yeah, that was my handle, and that's what I used in the game. And then every game since then, I have used this tag. This has been my Xbox handle. It's either a variation of Dragothian or Dragothane. So it's one of those two. Those are my two handles that I use, and maybe I'll go into it another day as far as the adventures that name has seen. Can I see your Osmond talent build? Real quick, because we are going to wrap up the stream here in just a moment. I will show you my Osmond talent build. So there you go. It's nothing special just yet. I haven't fully ironed it out yet because, again, he's not fully leveled up yet. But ultimately, I'm going to make sure I go to Rejuvenate. I am going to go to Latent Power because Osmond has the additional damage factor, and that's actually a big portion of his skill damage. I don't plan on getting these two because these are for mixed troops. So really, I'm going to shoot up to their strategic prowess. That's very important. And then also, this is not a bad one for a little bit of extra defense, but I'll probably try and spec towards clarity would be my guess. Right now, I use him with Sun Tzu, but to be honest with you, I'm actually going to be maneuvering him, or replacing him, I should say, with this guy. So I just got rank 2 on Mightiest Governor event, and that gave me enough sculptures to get his second skill maxed out. So actually, if you want, since he's leveled up, let's go ahead and do this. Develop. Come on, do stuff. There you go. So he's now upgraded, so I can start leveling him up a little bit more. And yeah, I'm short. So I've got 5511 or 5510, and I plan on, I'm going to do him again. I'm going to level him up a little bit, and well, I'll do that later. I'm going to level him to open up his last skill as well, and that will open up his last skill as well. I'm not important enough for y'all to be advertising your YouTube channels on my channel, so I don't know why you're trying to advertise. Go try and advertise on Ronnie's channel. He's got 10 times more subscribers than I do, 15 times more subscribers than I do. Okay, so $15 a day to claim rewards, $4.99.99. I prefer the Fountain of Wisdom. Yeah, Fountain of Wisdom is a good choice, especially if you have research to do. And to be honest with you, you're never, ever, ever going to have too many speed ups of anything. Is there a point where you can stop training siege troops, or should you keep training it nonstop? You should keep training it nonstop, and I'll tell you why. Because they're throwaway troops. You can siege cities with siege troops and not lose main fighting troops. I fully intend on farming with regular troops at some point in this game because I'm going to use siege troops just for sieging cities so that I don't lose field battle troops. There will be a point where siege will be the actual siege of this game. Is the 7-day speed up supply worth it? 100%. 100%. 110%. Is there a number higher than 110%? Yes, there is. That many percent. That's how much you should get that 7-day speed up, especially if you are trying to rush to T5, especially if you are trying to stockpile speed ups to do a lot of stuff. You should get it. It's worth it every single time. Rosens, hey, how you ever play Evany? No, I never played Evany. I'm not even sure what that is. When you got Lost Temple? Hour and 38 minutes ago. That's when we got it. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. It's been an hour and 54 minutes. I appreciate all of you joining me. As you can see, I'm getting a little more lively as the stream is wrapping up. I don't know why that happens. Maybe it's my second or third wind. But I do appreciate all of y'all joining me. Again, this is your boy Dragothian here. Just trying to get you guys caught up to speed on what is going on Kingdom 16. It's been a blast the last few days fighting alongside of everybody that you've been watching. And just wanted to make sure the record was set straight and that you all had all the information that I could provide There's a lot more granular detail that I'm not going to go into that just doesn't help anybody. Hopefully I gave a good summary and a good overall view of what was helpful to everybody. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. I'll be putting out some more videos this week for sure, 100%. And I'll see y'all next time. Y'all take care and have a good one, okay?